Hello, welcome back. It is Jack Mack, High Top Sports Georgia. JT is back joining us. Here we are, Georgia Tennessee week. Game day stakes are here. Must win for Georgia, not necessarily for Tennessee, but we're going to get into that game obviously in detail. Where the winning points are critical points in this game, X factors. Talk about all that. Another SEC game. I'm going to get into South Carolina, Missouri. Really, the only other game worth talking about, only other ranked game. Everyone else has pretty much played themselves out. LSU plays Florida, but who cares about that game, right, JT?
Yeah, it
So,
doesn't really matter at this point.
I guess we can watch DJ Lagway. I think he's going to play this week.
Yeah, we'll see if he can prove himself this week.
Yeah, but who really cares, right?
Nobody.
But we can get into a little bit of a recap here first of last week. Ole Miss, Georgia, Tennessee won. So JT, what is your thoughts of just last weekend?
Yeah, I think we're gonna see we saw some movement last weekend. We might have seen some fraudulent behavior in Atlanta from Miami last week. I think they got exposed a little bit. Kind of saw that their defense is going to be an issue for them, and that you can put that offense at bay for a few possessions and create some turnovers, that they are an extremely vulnerable team because they can't stop anybody. Um, Georgia Tech pretty much ran the ball up and down the field on them for the most part, and they just couldn't get anything going. So I think that kind of exposed them. Obviously, Georgia, Ole Miss. I think when you look at that game, at least from my perspective, you saw that Georgia probably played. In my opinion, they did play the best team they were going to see, up to this point. If you look at the stats and on paper, Ole Miss was, like I said last week, top 10 scoring offense, top 10 scoring defense, only team in the SEC to have both of those accolades, I believe. And, I just think that Ole Miss was ready to play and Georgia wasn't. You can bring in the elements to that game with the rain, and just how, sloppy it was. But at the end of the day, like you said in your show the other day, Carson Beck was an issue. Georgia's offense could not get anything going in that game, dropping passes, could not run the ball, and really just couldn't get a stop on defense either. It was pretty impressive to see Jackson Dart go out at the beginning of that game, hobble off the field, and then come back and gut out a win. So I think this week it'll be interesting to see if they can bounce back and see how they come out and play. I'm expecting them to come out. Kirby was going to have them ready to play, in my opinion. It's usually how it goes. You don't want to run into a pissed off Georgia team and a pissed off Kirby. So a little nervous about that. But other than that, I think that's, it's going to be interesting this week. Missouri, Eli Drinkowitz, in my opinion, is a laughing clown and makes stupid remarks a lot. And they beat a terrible Oklahoma team on the last play of the game and got lucky. And then he's like, "Oh, we're still in the playoff." We'll see after this week. So,
I heard that. I couldn't believe he said that. It's like when you watch that clip, it's almost like he doesn't even believe him saying that.
it's like,
It's
dude, just shut up. It's like that. The thing that did it for me with Drinkwitz last year was the whole walking up to Heupel after Tennessee game and making the standing on business remark. I'm like, dude, just shut up. Like, dude, you are a clown, bro.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. So Missouri's going to get torched this week. I have no doubt about that. I don't think they're going to be in the playoff anymore. Drink can cry his way off the field, back to irrelevancy. And then other than that, I don't think. Oh, yeah, Alabama, LSU. Brian Kelly, terrible football coach, does not win big games, and is also a laughing clown. And I think most people would kind of clarify him as just, I don't know, he's just awful. He's just a terrible person, doesn't take any accountability. So Alabama looked good in that game. So, I don't, if they get in the playoff, that's not really a team I want to touch at this point. Defense
They're
looks
going to
good.
get in. I mean, they're going to get in at this point. I mean, who could they lose to?
They dominated that game. It
Yeah, they
was
did.
it was over from the start. They look good. So
But everything I'm seeing is Alabama Texas SEC championship. I haven't looked. I have looked into tiebreaker, but everything I'm seeing is Alabama is going to be in the SEC championship. So I don't see in their schedule another loss. So I would think they're going to be in. Yes.
yeah,
What
yeah,
did you What did you think about? I mean, the Ole Miss Georgia game. Ole Miss dominated most of the game, but isn't it weird? The first 10 plays of the game is sack, interception, run the ball down the field, touchdown, and then Ole Miss dominates the backup. Like, isn't it just weird how the first 10 plays of the game, Georgia won every
yeah,
single play?
yeah. If you'd have sat there and just watched the first part of the game, you're like, wow, Georgia's going to dominate this game. Um, I'm not really sure. I guess it was that dude that Ole Miss brought in a quarterback to a junior, basically. This kid looks just like him. Lefty, number 13. He's got the same look, does the eye black, comes in and just drives him down the field for a touchdown. It's like after that possession, it seemed like Ole Miss had all the momentum. Obviously when that kid comes in, you don't expect him to just go down and put a drive together like that and score a touchdown. So I think that was, I think if Ole Miss doesn't score on that possession, then we're talking a different story here. I think it's a different story. I think that possession was huge for them, and then obviously when Jackson Dart came back on the field, um, that next possession for them, I think that was a big momentum thing for them as well. As a teammate, you see your boy come out there after hobbling off the field and going to the locker room, and he's out there grinding. You're like, all right, let's go to war. So I think that was a big thing for him and that team. And like I said, Georgia, for whatever reason, we've talked about it before. That first possession, they come out, they run the ball, like doing exactly what they need to, and then after that, they just start trying to throw it around. And they just could not get anything going in the pass game at all. Guys dropping passes, getting hit in the face with the ball. Um, it was just a sloppy performance on offense all around from them.
I wonder what they shot Jackson Dart up with. Something good to play in that game. He looked like he was done out for the count. He came running back. They shot him up with something good. Tore it
Yeah,
all.
yeah, they had something ready for him. He was good. He was good
Um,
to go after that.
South Carolina, I was watching another show, power rankings wise. Someone had South Carolina as number like 7 in a power rankings currently right now.
That's a little crazy. They're a good football team, but they're not that good.
They're good, but I was thinking like, does South Carolina win the Big 12? Probably. Do they win the ACC? Probably.
Definitely.
Both of
Oh,
those.
I'd like to see them in the Big Ten. I think they're putting on. They're up there in the Big Ten for sure.
Look, that would be the best experiment. Is just like throwing a B or C team in the Big Ten for a year. That's why it would be better if it was a little bit more of a NFL type of system. With
Yeah,
smaller conferences, a bunch of small divisions, I guess.
yeah,
Because that would be, that would silence that conversation for good of what conference is best. Put a couple of those teams up. Switch a couple of the teams. Really, maybe bring Wisconsin and Iowa down. Excuse me. Bring those two teams down. Put South Carolina and Missouri up.
it'd be
Uh,
interesting. Do some interleague play like
I,
baseball.
I think South Carolina. I mean, because those 4 teams are pretty equivalent, wouldn't you say? I mean, for those divisions, Wisconsin, Iowa, South Carolina, Missouri. I think South Carolina, Missouri would cause some chaos in the Big Ten.
Possibly. I think South Carolina is better than people give them credit for. They've been in pretty much every game. They've just had a problem with finishing. They couldn't finish against LSU. They're kicking the crap at LSU and let them come back and win. And then obviously the Alabama game, they had Alabama dead to rights and just couldn't put it away and made some mistakes there at the end that cost them the game. So, um, you know, they if they're able to finish those two games, where it's a different story. They're one loss and sitting right up top with Tennessee and Texas this week, if that's the case. Battling
They
for
are. They would have been sitting pretty. Maybe who knows if their quarterback doesn't get banged up. South Carolina's quarterback. They
yeah.
could be a couple losses less. They've had a tough schedule as well. Um, I know everyone's been talking about Georgia's schedule this week, but really everyone in the SEC, not everyone, but most teams have had a difficult schedule in some capacity.
Yes,
Uh,
it's difficult. Everybody's pretty good for the most part.
Everyone's pretty good. That's for sure. I mean, there's not even a Vanderbilt anymore.
No, no, it's a week to week league now. Anything can happen, you know.
There's literally not a team that you can play and just be like, all right, this is a guaranteed win. I mean, I
Maybe
guess
Kentucky.
or
Kentucky.
They beat Ole Miss.
That's true. Yeah. Mississippi State. Yeah.
Mississippi State is that team this year.
Yeah.
They haven't beat anyone. I don't know if they have a win in the SEC.
I don't know. I don't. No, I don't. I don't think they do. I don't believe they do.
All right, so getting into this week's games, like I said, just have a couple to cover. We're going to get into South Carolina, and then we're going to cover Georgia, Tennessee. Um, so first for this South Carolina game, I don't think it's a night.
Four
I don't.
15.
Yeah, not a night game.
Weird time.
That keeps it interesting. If it's a night game, no shot. It's in Columbia or
It's in Columbia. Or no, it's in. Yeah.
Columbia, South Carolina.
Yeah. Battle of the Columbians here.
Yeah, because if this game's at night in South Carolina, Missouri loses by 40. Probably, it would be worse than that Texas A&M game at night. I mean, it would be
I
40 to
think.
10.
I think it's going to be pretty comparable.
Yeah, I agree. I
If
mean,
it, I mean, it looks like Brady Cook's doubtful, not going to play.
he
We
might
saw it.
play.
I doubt it, dude. I mean, he might give it a go. I know he's done it in the past few games when he's been hurt, but he's usually come out, and then we get Drew Pine, and we've seen what that guy's capable of. So, whenever I think about Drew Pine, I just think of him at Notre Dame and what's his name, the offensive coordinator. Yeah, I think they panned up to him. Gosh, what's his name? He went to Alabama as the offensive coordinator at the end of Saban's young guy. God, I can't remember his name.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
But there's a clip
Yeah,
online.
the guy from Notre Dame. Oh,
Yeah.
man, I know it, but
Now I got to look it up. But there's a clip of him. God, what's his name?
he was a quarterback, right? Oh, damn. I have it on. I can picture him right now. I'm looking at him.
Gosh. 2023.
I feel like his name starts with a G.
Maybe it was 2022.
Uh, Tommy Reese.
Tommy Reese, yes, Tommy Reese. There's a video of of him in the press box, and they pan down to Drew Pine. He's got the phone. Uh, he's got the phone up. They pan up to Tommy Reese. He's got the phone, and he just starts yelling,
Oh
"Do
yeah,
your
I remember that.
job, do your after job." He's just grilling this guy. So I don't know why it's so funny when I watch that, because it's just like you just see this guy now and you realize there's a good reason that Tom Reese was just giving that guy hell that whole game. So I don't know. For me, you watch him in the Alabama game, throws a million interceptions, can't do anything. Really didn't look that good against Oklahoma last week. Let's be honest. Missouri got lucky as hell in that game. Shouldn't have won that game at all. So
And
I
Drew
think,
Pine played that whole game. Am I right? I didn't
yeah,
watch any of it.
yeah, he did. He did.
How did they win that game with Drew Pine? I have no idea.
Pure luck, and Oklahoma stinks. That's why. Um,
Oklahoma, you got to be really bad to lose to Drew Pine.
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah, well, when you fumble the ball with however many seconds left in the game for a touchdown, that'll usually put the nail in the coffin.
That usually is not good.
So yeah, I don't see Missouri competing in this game. I've already said it. Drinkwitz is a clown. He's going to go up there, get exposed, and South Carolina is going to win this game by a lot, in my opinion. I think
So
South
we like,
Carolina's
and I agree. I mean, 13 and a half, if you can get this game at 13 and a half, what a bet.
yeah.
That that's a good bet. I like it a lot.
I think this game is going to get ugly pretty quick. So don't expect Missouri to be able to move the ball.
No. No, I don't. Not even a little bit. They don't have a running back. I mean, that white guy what was that guy's name?
Schrader,
Last
Garrett Schrader.
he was so good.
Yeah, he was good. Noel's pretty good, but he's been hurt, I think, and I don't know if he's playing this game or not.
Yeah, for Missouri, their defense. I mean, usually I feel like their defense is pretty good. You know, creating some turnovers, being opportunistic, but I don't know. I just feel like there's nothing with Missouri this year that stands out. Like they're just such a bland team.
Yeah, and you
I
look
don't
at
even know how they're ranked. I mean, I guess they got that win last week, but they
yeah.
shouldn't be ranked.
Well, you look at their two road games against big opponents this year, and they went down there and got their asses kicked. Texas A&M they lose by I don't know how many points. It was a ton. What 30? They got beat
40, yeah.
34 to yeah, and then Alabama they went and got torched up there. So I don't really expect anything different in this game, to be honest with you. I think South Carolina's going to dominate them.
We will see. I think they're very healthy as they got their quarterback healthy. Sanders, I believe, is healthy.
Lenoris, Sellers.
No, Rocket Sanders, the running back. I think he's
Oh,
healthy.
is he healthy?
Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't check the injury report on that one.
I think he's healthy. But we will see. We'll go report back. While I'm thinking,
Obviously, if Missouri finds a way to win, they're in it. So I doubt they will, but I think there are playoff implications on this. According to Eli Drinkwitz, there are playoff implications on this game. So,
well, I hate to break it to you. I hate to break it to Eli Drinkowitz. There's not a morsel of playoff. Uh, there's nothing important about this game. There's nothing. There's nothing. There's no outcome out of this game that could affect either team's postseason game.
yeah,
Are they serious? What are we talking about?
I agree.
I mean, does South Carolina have 3 losses?
Yeah,
Oh, I don't. So I guess he
I think
wasn't.
it's for Missouri. For Missouri, it's
So he wasn't talking about South Carolina.
no. He's talking about Missouri because they have 2 losses. So
Well, someone needs to tell that guy to stop partaking in illegal activities. I mean, are you serious? There's no way they've beaten nobody. If you put their 3 best wins up, there's an FBS school in there for sure, or FCS. I mean, they have played nobody. It's the worst. It's not their schedule has improved, with time. Like going on the road to Texas A&M, but other than the games that they've lost, they have nobody. Like they have no good wins.
they should have lost the Vandy.
They should
They
have.
barely.
I guess that's a great. It's a
They,
great win. That's their best
they
win.
yeah, I think it is their best win.
It's Tech. I mean, no shade on Vandy. That's Texas's best win right now is Vandy.
Yeah, yeah. Who else they play?
Georgia.
Nobody. That's it.
Yeah, they've had a pretty pathetic schedule. They play Mississippi State, Arkansas. No, they play Arkansas this week. But they do have a kick up in competition with Texas A&M last game of the year.
Yeah,
That's a big game.
that'll be a good game. Yeah,
It's could be a eliminator for SEC championship game.
yeah. Never know. Arkansas sneaky. They could give them a run today or tomorrow, unless they play like they did against Ole Miss. Then there's just no shot.
They could. I just don't understand how some of these teams get away with these schedules. But We shall see. We get while I'm thinking about it. How about the Georgia Tech pick to 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 hold it down in Atlanta? Dominated,
That was a good pick.
dominated.
I went against you on that too. That's
Backup court.
what I get.
It could have been a backup quarterback, and they would have won. I mean, Haynes King had less than 10. I think I want to say it was 5 throws, but
They just ran the ball.
he ran the ball a
That
lot.
running back was dominating too for them.
Yeah.
Maybe
We'll go rambling wreck for Georgia Tech. I know their coach is going to be their coach. I like him. It's going to be good for them. But he's going to be. He's going to be. I can already see it. He's going to be a little bit too jacked up for that Georgia game. He's going to think a little bit too much in his mind. He's going to believe a little bit too much of what he's preaching throughout the week, and he's going to say something crazy for Georgia week. He is. He's going to say something like last year. He said something like, "Well, we're battling for this state." Like our expectation is to beat Georgia like that. And
oh,
just going into like how he thinks like that's not a crazy thing is for them to be competing with Georgia every year.
you got to say
And that's
that.
and that's
That's
a
the formality thing.
it's a crazy thing to say though. I mean, there's no chance ever in any universe I'll quit being a football fan if we're ever competing with Georgia Tech again, because that's not good. So that
Yeah,
guy's crazy. So this is probably going to really make him crazy for the rest of the year.
it could
If
be.
Georgia Tech wins out, I think they have the same record as Miami's probably like Miami. Georgia Tech is the South Carolina of the ACC. Their record's not good enough, but they're still pretty frisky.
Yeah, that's a perfect way to describe them. Frisky. They're a frisky
Yeah,
team. Yeah, we
they
both we
can't
hit
play
both our
football. But
we hit both our upset picks.
what was yours again?
Ole Miss.
Yeah, you're in charge of all this.
Ole Miss was my upset pick.
Ah, man, you were right about that one.
Yeah. Telling you what, bro, you see a 2.5 point spread, and the home team's getting 2 points on that. That's been my sweet spot this year.
What's the statistic on it?
I took Texas A&M was 2.5 point home dogs against Missouri blowout. I think I took another one. I can't remember what it was. I can't remember what game it was, but I've targeted that as my number. 2.5 point home dog. Book it. Go ahead and take that one.
Well, 2.5 point home dog. Sorry, I'm a little stuffed up today, but 2.5 points is not the line for our game this Saturday. A little bit higher. What is it? 10? 9 and a
10 and
half?
a half. 10 and a half.
10 and a
I don't
half.
know. I think I'm pretty sure it's like that because Nico is up in the air.
Yeah.
Nico's status is up in the air. So that line
Sounds like it's trending in a good direction. Sounds like he is likely going to play.
yeah.
Um,
From what I'm hearing, I think that is the case. Chris Fallica reported earlier in the week that he wasn't going to play, but other sources out there are saying that he is online to play and has been practicing. So I would imagine we'll hear something about that by either end of day today or tomorrow morning.
well, if I did a solo podcast show, whatever you want to call it, yesterday with my analysis of this game and my take with the quarterback. I mean, I don't think I watched bits and pieces of the backup last week. Um, Gaston Moore, that's his name.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't do very good, did he?
No, he did good. I think he had a couple of
He had a
touchdown
touchdown.
drives.
I know he had a touchdown drive.
Yeah, he just
But
goes in, heaves that thing. I
yeah,
think he got a few PI calls. Just kind of throwing it downfield, trying to make something happen.
yeah. So I was ranting and raving last night about how it doesn't really matter who the quarterback is. Like I think, I, we talked about it last week, 2 weeks ago. Nico doesn't. I mean, in a road game like this, he's got to prove it to me. I mean, I just don't think. I think a backup for a true freshman, if you're not a certain type of guy, if you're not, Jameis Winston, Cam Newton, certain guys, going on the road in the SEC is going to be very difficult. So Nico, Gaston Moore, whoever plays quarterback, I think is going to be put in a difficult position. Georgia's defense is still, top 10 defense in the country, and coming home, they finally get a home. I was about to say playoff game, but it pretty much is for Georgia. But a home game at night. They've played 5 teams in the top 10, 4 teams in the top 10 this season. Finally get one at home. So I think this defense really thrives at home, under the lights, the crowd behind them. I think there's going to be a lot of negative plays, sacks, maybe a couple strip sacks. I predicted a Malachi Starks scoop and score. But yeah, I just expect I expect for this not to be a defensive game at all. Or an offensive game. I don't expect this to be an offensive game. And I think you would probably agree with me. This is going to be a very much defensive slugfest, low scoring. I like the under. I don't even know what the number is, but I like the under.
I think it's 47.5. I was looking at the under as well. I think we're on the same page. I agree. I think it's going to be very much a defensive battle. Did you have a thought you were about to finish there?
Well, yeah, just on offense, it's going to have to be a defensive battle because on offense, it looks like it's going to be a lot of throwing the football. I don't know what that's going to look like, but excuse me. ETN is questionable, but even more important, JT.
He ain't questionable. He's out.
Out. Yeah, sorry.
He's out.
Saul was questionable earlier yesterday. Cash Jones, that's even more important. He's questionable as well. Veteran running back. He had our longest reception against Ole Miss last week, which is I don't want to rant again about that, but I mean, that's embarrassing. Cash Jones should not be the leading receiver in any game in the SEC. So with that being said, we still need him to play. But JT, what are your thoughts heading in?
I think there's no way Nico doesn't play this game. I think he will be the quarterback, but I don't think that changes the game plan at all, whether it's Gaston or Nico. I think Tennessee is going to stick to what they've done all year, and they're going to lean on their defense, and they're going to run the football. I think Dylan Sampson is the guy they're going to lean on. I think they're running it at like a 65% clip this year, which, if you have that guy, why not? If you have this defense, why not? Like I said, I think still have not given up 20 points yet this year. So, I think when that's the case, why would you want to throw the football? They haven't found themselves down a lot other than Alabama, and then that Arkansas game. And I feel like, once they get a lead and they know they can run, they're just going to lean on the defense and say, hey, if we can put up 20, we're going to win, because those guys aren't going to give up 20 points. It hasn't happened yet. I don't expect it to happen this week, solely because when you look across the field at Georgia's offense, there's just no talent on that offense. I'm going to be honest with you. You said it in your solo recap this week. At receiver, they're extremely weak. Everybody kind of thought, even I thought, Dylan Bell was going to be a guy, and he's not shown that he is a guy. They don't really have anybody that's able to stretch the field. They don't have a Ladd McConkey. They don't have a Brock Bowers that can bail you out. There's no real there's no guy to go to. They just don't have one guy that they can go to, and obviously Carson Beck has struggled to throw the ball down the field. The offensive line has not been great. I think. How many sacks did Ole Miss have last week? 4 or 5?
Yeah, it was like 5 or 6.
Yeah, 5 or 6, and it doesn't get any easier this week with James Pierce and the boys coming into town. So again, here we sit. I think the key for Georgia is they have to figure out a way to run the football. I think that's where Tennessee's struggle has been, is they've given up some yards on the ground. So if you can find a way to run the ball and you can commit to it, which Mike Bobo has showed that he's not going to,
Well,
you give yourself a little better chance. So the big thing for me is if they're letting Carson Beck air it out and he's throwing picks, they're giving up sacks. This is going to be a long game for Georgia, in my opinion.
one of my thoughts, you say run the football, and I agree. I think they should try to run the football no matter what. But if they have these two guys out, the elements aren't going to be an issue like they were in Oxford.
It's supposed to be a beautiful day.
It's going to have to be him throwing the football. And, I mean, they're not going to – knowing Kirby, I mean, Kirby likes to say he plays the best players – best players will play on the field. But that's not necessarily the case in every position. I mean, we watched Justin Fields sit on the bench for Jake Fromm. So, like, quarterback, running back, I think are two main positions where I think that's true. Like, he's not going to give Nate Frazier, 30 – I don't think 30 carries in a game like this. I really don't. So if both of those guys don't play, I mean, and we want to establish the run, he would have to have 30 carries. So I think, as crazy as it sounds, JT, I think we're going to see a lot of screens. I really do.
Yeah.
I think even though it didn't work against Ole Miss, I think they're going to try a lot of it in this game.
Yeah. I feel like the way Tennessee is going to want to play is run and play defense. So, if I see a game, if Georgia comes out, goes up 14-0, and Tennessee's playing from behind, I think that causes some issues for us, solely because I don't think we want to get in a space where we have to throw the football a ton. I think we really want to stick to the ground game and lean on that defense. So I think that's kind of, if Georgia does come out and they start fast, then I think we'll find ourselves in trouble, especially if Nico's unable to go this week. Because I don't think we really want to throw the ball 30 plus times, if I'm being honest.
No, I think that is the constant with this game. Is Tennessee definitely cannot be behind. You don't want to be behind in a game like this at night. Freshman quarterback. That would be a recipe for disaster, I believe.
Yeah.
What is your score prediction?
I think it is a low-scoring game. If Tennessee wins this game, I see it, I don't see it being anything crazy, 24-17, 24-20, like that type of game. Would be the first time they've given up 20 points all year. But I think that's how that's for them to come out on top. I don't think they can give up 20 points, 20 plus. I think they have to be able to keep it 20 and below. That's the key for me in this game.
Well, you're not going to like my score prediction. My score prediction is 34-10. Dogs on top. I think it's so I think that they scored 34, but I don't think I think it's going to be really that type of a game like you're saying until the very end. You know what I mean? Like I said, I'm predicting a Malachi Starks scoop and score. I think that happens in the fourth quarter. I think it's 24-10 maybe entering the fourth quarter, and we get a defensive touchdown, something like that. That's how I think he goes.
How many times has Georgia's offense put up 34 this year against a good team? Against a good defense?
They've put it up a few times. I mean, they put up 40 against Clemson.
Against Clemson, Mississippi State.
They put 40 against Clemson. They put 40 against Bama. On the road, they put 40 against Bama. Auburn, we scored 30 against Auburn. There's only been a couple games where we haven't scored 30. Kentucky, Ole Miss,
Good defenses.
Texas, we scored 30. A lot of it was the defense. So that could happen. That's what I'm saying. The Georgia could score their points with is a lot. I think defense. I think even though, even though the defense didn't score necessarily all their points in Texas, they put them up. They put Carson Beck in positions where he couldn't fail, almost. So I think that is a lot of what happens. We're going to see a lot of the damn spikes this week, JT. That's what I think.
We shall see. We shall see. I just, Tennessee's had a issue fumbling the ball, so Dylan Sampson struggled with holding on to the football. But other than that, I don't think Nico's been a lot better with not turning the ball over these last few weeks. So
Georgia can't hold on to the football. Most drops in the FBS, and then Dylan Sampson, he's had what? I think I saw a fumble in the last 3 games. Is that it?
Mm-hmm.
One. So yeah, it's so cliche, and I hated hearing stuff like this when I was little. But it's the truth. You gotta take care of the football. It's so simple. You can't throw picks. You can't fumble. It's a very simple game. You keep the football and you block. It's very simple. Like when Kirby goes on his bye weeks, he's like, "Oh, we're just going to work on blocking and tackling." That's all that they work on, really, is blocking and tackling. And there was a leaked video that I saw of Kirby after the Ole Miss game, and it's so funny to me listening to him. He's like, "Guys, we're having a Georgia week of practice. We're hitting Monday," and Kirby's like, "We're hitting Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday." And he's like blocking and tackling. Every time when Georgia is not playing good, he just goes to, "All right, we're going to go blocking and tackling and practice." Like football is an easy game. Block, keep the football.
Yeah, they had a lot of missed tackles in that Ole Miss game too. So that
blocking and tackling. Exactly. Yeah. You got to block and tackle. So they did have a lot of missed tackles, especially in the first half.
Yeah, they're struggling. But,
So, yeah, I think it's going to be 34-10.
We shall see.
And, yeah, like I said, I'd like for my bet is I most like the under. In my show yesterday, I took Georgia spread. I got myself pretty fired up.
If you're going to take I feel like if you're going to bet this game.
Under. You got to bet the under.
You bet the under, but I think if you're going to take a spread, you just go ahead and if you have an inkling of hope of an idea that Nico is going to play, you take plus 10.5 because that spread shoots down once he gets confirmed.
What does it shoot down to?
Who's lining this anyways? I think I don't know, 6.5, maybe 5.5. I think they have it that high right now because he's up in the he has not been confirmed. So I think that's why they're leaning gassing more starts. That's why it's 8.5 to 10.5 right now. That's why it started that way.
I think if he plays, it's not going to go down 5-6 points. There's no way. I think it goes down to. I don't think it goes down under a touchdown. No way. I think it'll go down to 7.5, 8.
Yeah.
You think?
Maybe.
If it's 6.5, I'm putting a lot of money on it. But okay, that's our picks for that game. We will report back. Let's get into our upset and locks. I will start my upset pick since I won my upset pick. I guess we both did with his Georgia or Ole Miss pick. But I'm going to keep it with top 25. So I am going to go, and I mentioned it on my show from yesterday, with Tulane going down. They looked terrible earlier in the year. Last Tulane game I watched. was them losing to Oklahoma. That's when Oklahoma we still thought was good. They were in the top 10, I think, back then. And they were in that game until the end. They ended up not covering. They were dead to me. I haven't watched a syllable of that game since. And anyway, I think they've gone undefeated since the Oklahoma game. Um, but it all ends this week. They're going against the fighting troops of our great country, and they will lose outright. Their Navy is plus 7.5. They're plus 220. This show is brought to you by Bet US. They're plus 220 against Tulane. Take them. Take a money line. I'm hot right now. Had a good start with Maction this week. So, look, tail the boy. Tail the boy. JT, what you got?
I think we have an undefeated lose this week. I'm looking at this BYU Kansas game.
I thought you were about to say Oregon. Was about to
No. I don't know, but I just don't trust Wisconsin in that game. I kind of look at this one, this Kansas game, and I'm like, because 2.5 point spread is kind of interesting to me, especially with Kansas being, it's the opposite of what I would usually take. If Kansas was at home and they're plus 2.5, I would be hammering this. But I still look at this and I'm like, well, why is it's interesting to me that Kansas 3-6, BYU 9-0, presumed playoff team, is only a 2.5 point favorite against them. So I think, and let me see here. I just want to make sure Kansas's quarterback is playing. Yes, sir, he is. Jalen Daniels is in. Confirmed playing. So I do like Kansas in this game in an upset. I think they're plus 115. Kind of shoot. It's pretty even for the most part. So I like Kansas in this game to upset BYU and bring. I'm interested to see how far BYU would fall if they do end up losing this game. But I think Kansas comes in and gives BYU a run for their money. I think they end up winning this game outright. I think Jalen Daniels, we see Jalen Daniels from last year where we were talking Heisman with this guy. So I think he comes and he balls.
And he already balled just recently. Was it last week or a week? Within the last couple of weeks, they beat undefeated team just 2 weeks ago. They beat Iowa State.
Iowa State, 45-36.
Yeah, they dominated that game. So they've already done it. I like that pick. BYU, look, they're not any good. They need to just go ahead and lose. We don't need another TCU situation. That's why Georgia has the schedule they got now. It's because of TCU. Georgia embarrassing them. Georgia's getting wrath for that now. So we don't need another one, a situation like that. BYU needs to lose. We don't even need to see them in the playoff. I don't want to hear any type of conversation. And this is why Georgia or Tennessee is best for them, if they have 2 losses, not to play in the SEC championship. I don't want to hear, all right, Georgia, who's played 5 teams in the top 10, 3 of them on the road, or BYU with 1 loss. That conversation's coming, and I'm not going to be able to listen to it because it's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous conversation. I was about to make a comparison to what this is like, but this is like just everyone knows that makes that comparison that if BYU played Georgia in the middle of Ohio one Saturday, Georgia would win by 1 million. I mean, there's no debate. Any SEC team is going to beat BYU by 2 scores. So those conversations are coming, JT, and I'm really not looking forward to them.
Yeah, I agree with you.
But I do agree with the pick.
Yeah, I think this is kind of the game where BYU gets exposed a little bit.
I've been thinking that, but
I just think I think they're a little bit overhyped. So I like Kansas to win this game. I think they're going to win it. BYU gets exposed, and we clear the way for more SEC teams to be in the playoff because nobody really. We don't need to see a BYU in the playoff. Well, I guess what they're getting in as they're in the Big 12 now, right? Yeah, so they're getting in as a conference
They'd be
champion.
winning.
That's the only
Colorado,
reason. That's the only reason they
Colorado
would get.
might win it.
Yeah. I think everybody would rather see Colorado in it anyways. So
They got the best quarterback.
yeah, but yeah, give me Kansas. Kansas plus two and a
Kansas,
half. Kansas plus 2.5. Kansas money line.
Kansas, and the midshipmen. We'll see what we got here. Moving on to locks. I will start here. Going to stay in the Big Ten. Ugly football for an ugly conference. I'm going to go to Illinois, Michigan State under. Last time I saw was 47. This game's going to be 13-6.
This game's gonna
No
suck.
doubt about it. Could be 12-6, no touchdowns scored. This game's
Yeah.
disgusting.
Yeah.
I'd imagine it's going to be cold there. Well, it is going to be. JT, is it? Are my sources accurate? It's going to be probably pretty cold up there.
Yeah, that game's in
Illinois.
It's in Illinois?
Yeah.
We can look up the just look up the temperature for all
I want ugly.
Champaign, Illinois. I won't be too bad. 56.
Is it snowing anywhere yet?
I don't know. Probably in the northeast.
So yeah, I am going to take Michigan State. I am going to take the under 47. This game just seems like when I look at Illinois and Michigan State on Bleacher Report, I immediately have to click it to see which quarterback's out. I just feel like every time I watch these teams, they're always playing with a backup quarterback. They're always getting hurt. Like just that type of Big Ten football, backup quarterback, hard hitting. That's what we love to see. And we love to see a 13-6 game where the offensive or the score is from a punt return.
Midwest football. It's Midwest football.
Exactly. So that's going to hit. What do you got?
Just look at the NFL team that plays in Chicago. They don't have any offense either.
It's tough. It's tough to watch football when your team can't score.
Yeah, it's not fun. It's not fun. That's a different conversation. So, I already know where I'm going. Give me South Carolina minus 13.5. I already said it. If Drew Pine's going to start this game for Missouri and it's a 13.5 point spread in Columbia, South Carolina, Eli Drinkwitz, clown. I see this game getting ugly pretty quick. I don't think Missouri's able to score. I don't think they're going to be able to stop South Carolina. So I think South Carolina wins this game by 21 to 24 points. I think this one's over pretty quick. So South Carolina minus 13.5 is my lock.
You got to think. I mean, for Missouri, why do you with South Carolina's defensive line? It's at South Carolina. I don't see any scenario that Missouri can win this game.
No. They're not going to be able to score.
I really don't see a scenario.
The only way would be if it's like Oklahoma, where South Carolina's turning the ball over, making mistakes, and Missouri gets a defensive touchdown or something like that.
Even then, though, I don't know. I mean, I think South Carolina is going to score 2 to 3 touchdowns. I mean, are you going to score? I don't think there's any chance they score a touchdown with Drew Pine. So are they going to score 2 defensive touchdowns? I don't think so. So I think. I mean, if you're Eli Drinkwitz, just don't even show up, man. I mean, just phone it in. Say, hey, yeah, my team got COVID. We can't play.
What do you think he says if they get blown out by
nothing?
30.
He goes to the press conference. His face is red from the wind, and he just, he just has he's bipolar. When he's winning, he's like, oh, this is our team. We're going to beat everyone, and then he kind of just shies away during the media when they suck. And they suck right now, and that quarterback's really bad.
Yeah.
So they should probably not show up.
Yeah, but he stands on business, so he's all about standing on business.
He is, but
what a loser.
Not this year.
What a loser.
They kind of got screwed with Brady Cook, but look, with Brady Cook,
It's not like they're that much better.
I mean, look, with Brady Cook, they have maybe a 30% chance of winning this game. No, not even that. I would say 20.
Yeah, it's not like they're that much better. They should have lost to Boston College.
But they are better. I mean,
They're better, but they're not that much better. It's not like
true.
they didn't look that great. They had them in the Texas A&M game. They couldn't do anything.
Nothing.
They got their asses kicked.
They're a bad team on the road.
Yeah, they're not a good football team on it. I
So
mean,
4-0. I think we're gonna go 4-0. We got a shot.
yeah, go and parlay all those picks too. You might as well.
How about this? Parlay the upsets, parlay the winners.
Yeah,
Or the locks.
then you just parlay all 4.
I'm not advising that.
Go
If
for
you
the
do that,
go for the big payday.
if you parlay all 4, put the upsets against the spread. Or not. I mean, it's not like you're betting on Georgia Tech this week. It's actually plausible, these upsets.
Yeah,
I think.
these are some that can happen.
Plus 7.5, a touchdown favorite. Home dog is my favorite bet you could have. Navy this week can't get any better.
They looked good last week against South Florida. So
And I had the over. Or no, I'm sorry. I didn't have the over. I had South Florida in a teaser, and that game was it's hard for a game to be over on a teaser, and you have them plus 20, and the game was over midway through the first quarter.
yeah,
It was over. Like I turned it on at 12:42 or 12:30, and the game's over. No shot at all.
you
I
had
mean,
some hilarious beats on those teasers. I think your quote for the for the for the Ohio State game was what kind of sick
oh my gosh!
what kind of sick individual is taking minus 30 what
No, no,
5 and a
no.
30 36 and a half, and so you tease it up to plus 43 and a half and they lose 45 to nothing. That's hilarious.
I'm sitting there. I'm like, dude, 43.5. There's no way. Have because really what you're saying is you're looking for one touchdown from Purdue. That's
Yeah.
it. And they had them. Dude, they had them inside the 10 in the first quarter. Went for it on 4th down. And I knew it was in jeopardy in the first quarter.
That was one of my favorite. That was one of my favorite quotes of the weekend. What kind of sick individual is taking minus 36 and a half?
And that would be me.
You took plus 43.
So
individuals that would take the opposite side of that and say,
So
yeah.
Georgia Tech is beating Miami. There's like 2 minutes left, and I'm like glued to Ohio or Purdue trying to make a drive 45-0 against all the backups in Ohio. And then guess what, guys? They did not make the drive. I don't think they crossed the 50. That Purdue team should also probably disband.
They got stopped on 4th down. 4th and 2, I think it was.
Oh my gosh. And it was the worst. It was like a read option where the quarterback had it if he just took it straight, bounced it outside, got mauled. Yeah, I'm not betting on Purdue ever again.
Yeah, they can go on they're on the do not bet list.
43.5 to a team in conference. I mean, think about it. You would lay that every time, wouldn't you? In the SEC.
Yeah.
Any team, 43 points.
I haven't watched a lick of Purdue until that game, and I now understand why it was that big of a spread. So
it was disgusting.
None like that this week, though. I think we stay away from any game like that.
I agree. Anything else you'd like to add this week, JT?
No. Just watch for this VOLS defense to dominate on Saturday. That's all I got to say.
It's going to be a battle of the defenses. We can agree there. I think it'll be the Georgia defense that
trenches will win. The
trenches will
win this game.
As always. Well, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe to the channel, comment, score prediction for Georgia Tennessee game. Quit it, cut it out. And we will be back next week with the reaction. Go Dogs.
Go Vols, baby.